Rob and Slim Show, we're back with late night host T.C. Restani.
Am I on the air officially?
Officially on the air, TC. How are you, my friend?
Unbelievable. Always a pleasure to talk to Rob and Slim, my brothers from New Jersey. It's been quite a long time since I've graced the airways of the Rob and Slim Show.
Yeah, we've been busy. We also do less shows a season now, TC. We had cut back last season to like 2 shows a month. So yeah, it's like it's a constant grind. But how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I'm getting ready for the big holiday season here, I guess, like everybody else on planet Earth.
Are you ready?
But, what's that?
Are you ready, TC? Like, I'm pretty much ready. Slim said he just started shopping, like, just yesterday. Today.
This morning.
Well, like my mentor, Bobby the Brain Heenan, said, you won't offend me with cash.
Yeah. Well, that's what last year, I have 3 sons, and I think it was last year, it was like the first year they all decided they want to cash. So I'm like, oh my God, that's so easy, so great.
I think that's what everybody in the world wants, is just cash. I mean,
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I knew what I wanted because I filled out Santa's list and gave it to the grandparents, and they never disappointed.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, cash is king.
Yup, I agree.
I think it's also, even for a kid nowadays, it's probably easier to get whatever you want if you have money because you don't have to go anywhere.
They just go on Amazon.
You just go on Amazon and
like,
just tell mom I want this on Amazon.
So they get the cash, they give you it back, and they're like, order me this. It's pretty cool.
I became addicted to Amazon this year, but I'm an adult. But I still miss. Kids do not have the experience of going into a toy store and like a Toys R Us or a Child World and whatnot, or KB Toy,
or just a
and
mall,
actually seeing everything on the wall. Remember those days as a kid?
Yeah. KB, just like you said, Toys R Us even, I think they reopen like 1 or 2 Toys R Us's every Christmas season, but like we had them all year round. That's where you went for everything. KB,
Every
Toys R Us.
single thing, you're right.
I miss those.
Even like movie stores aren't around anymore, and they were great, like the Suncoast and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I used to go to the mom and pop shops because this is going back to like 1983, 84 when you first got your VCR out there, and little mom and pop video stores popped up. That was the greatest thing since sliced bread, going to the video store. There's a movie that you saw and loved on the big screen, and now you owned it in your hand on a VHS. People don't understand the thrill of what it was like going into a video store back in the 80s and grabbing one of these movies and bringing it home. It's a lost art.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, no, we'll never have that again.
It's a shame.
Yeah, I guess it's you got to make way for progress, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know how it's progress. All right, do I have streaming services? Yes, of course I do. Of course I do. But it's the thrill and the adrenaline rush of going down to a video store and saying, I hope that movie's in. I hope that movie's in. Because remember, mom and pop shops had about 2 or 3 copies of it. It's not like Blockbuster that had like 800 copies of it where you were guaranteed.
Even that, though. Even I remember in high school, me and my buddy Brandon would go every Friday for a movie. Just to watch. And we'd spend hours. We'd just walk through the place. We wouldn't even know. We'd be looking at the back, reading the descriptions, and until we finally found one that we're like, oh yeah, we gotta watch this.
It was a social event. That was social media back then. Going up to your buddies to video stores and trying to pick out a movie that you haven't seen 8 trillion times.
Or find some like hidden gem like Jack Frost,
right?
With the snowman, like that kind of shit. Like that's how that happened.
And if no one was looking, you could go through the beads and go to the back room.
Get in that back room. Yeah. Even like record stores back in the day, like Tower Records, they had their little section where you could find the adult stuff. Yeah. That was like the whole thing of it.
Just like the song from All in the Family, those were the days.
They'll never know the shame. Everything's so accessible now. They just have their little phones.
Right. Everything is literally in the palm of your hand.
Yeah. It doesn't build the character it used to. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. It's sickening in a way. It is kind of sickening. You guys lived it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it was also not just like nowadays, like you're just way into everything. You just have it all in your face. Like back in the day, you eased in. Like now it's like whoa.
Right, exactly. You got to go into the deep end immediately.
Yes, you're just right in. You're right in. TC though, your show, After Hours, and was your podcast with Abby the same name, After Hours?
Yeah, After Hours at T.C. Restani. Hard to believe that next May will be our 19th anniversary that we started our late night television talk show.
Yeah,
obviously we haven't been on consistently for 19 years, but due to COVID and whatnot, COVID restrictions and whatnot at our studios, we really can't get into a full-fledged television production like we used to do.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
People said, "Well, why don't you do Zoom and whatnot?" Because Zoom sucks. Right? End of story.
It's pretty cool, but yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. I was gonna ask. How's Bull holding up in the pandemic?
How is he holding up? He was my guest at Thanksgiving a couple of weeks ago, and it was like my first time seeing him in probably 4 or 5 months. And Bull Montana, for those of you who don't know, he's the real life Forrest Gump. All right, he's had so many crazy things happen to him in his life. They should make a movie about him. But you know what? He's exactly the same. I met the guy in 1988. Other than a few gray hairs and a few, pounds here and there.
That's what I was going to ask.
Exact same guy.
I was going to ask if 4 months is like a totally different Bull, or if it's the same old Bull.
It depends on how many Twinkies he stuffed down his throat that week, but
I feel like
he will be spending Christmas at the Restani Mansion as well.
Okay, cool. I feel like he needs a Christmas album. You need to get him in the studio, TC, and just have him record Christmas songs. That's what
you kidding me? Santa Claus is a fan of Bull Montana.
Yeah. Oh my God! How did you originally meet?
What kind of song do you want him to sing?
I don't know. Jingle Bells. What else? What's that one? Silver Bells is definitely one of my favorites. I love to hear him sing that.
Some Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Here's the deal: when he's over my house on Christmas Day, I will record him singing whatever Christmas song he knows, and I will tweet it out to your guys' attention. Okay?
I will be waiting. That will be my Santa's gift. Yeah, that'll be what I'll be waiting for. That will make my day. So good. You first met him, TC. You said, right? Didn't he work for one of your family members as like a bouncer?
No. When I very first met him, going back, yes, he like I said, he's Forrest Gump, and he gets involved in a bunch of different things. He was a bouncer at my uncle's nightclub in Vegas called the Damp Napkin. All right,
Damp Napkin.
Yeah,
and this was so far off the strip. It was in New Jersey, all called. But that's how I initially met him. And then years later, when I used to go to the wrestling at the Boston Garden, I used to see him carrying in Hulk Hogan's bags. So, I mean, there was a few year gap between the Damp Napkin and the Boston Garden, but that's how I initially met him at the Damp Napkin. A few years go by, I see him carrying Hulk Hogan's bags at the Boston Garden.
Wow. That sounds like something.
He's been
there
ever since.
Something you would just have tons of stories from just doing that, just carrying Hulk Hogan's bag. Like that sounds amazing.
Before you guys officially retire, I'm going to get him down here to the studio. You guys can talk to him, and he'll tell you some fascinating stories.
I would love that. That would be amazing. Oh, could you handle the car ride from Boston to New Jersey with Bull?
I've done it many times, and I'd rather send him down on a Greyhound. But now, are you guys? I heard a rumor you guys may be retiring sometime in 22.
Yeah, this is our last full season. We'll pop up here and there, but this is our last of like a regular schedule show coming out.
Okay. Well, we may be down in New Jersey at the end of April for the Chiller Theater.
Okay.
We can arrange something. I'll drag his carcass down.
That'd be awesome. That'd be fucking awesome.
What is that?
The Chiller. That's horror festival, correct?
It used to be a horror festival. Now it's a pop culture con.
Okay.
So they just kept the title of the show because they've been doing this show now for like 31 years, so the name just stuck. But it used to be just, like Freddy Krueger's, Jason's, and, people from horror movies. But then they realized there's only so many times you can bring in Freddy Krueger, Jason, and whatnot. So they had to bring in different people from all different walks of pop culture.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would be awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that those resumed, too, with the pandemic.
Well, I can just still, like I said, I can drive him down there.
Yeah, just tell him.
Slow down in front of your house and just ease him out of the vehicle and come back in about an hour.
Just tell him it's a Chiller Fest. He doesn't know it's Slim's house.
Yeah, I'll just write Chiller Fest on the door, and there you go.
Bull Montana only.
As long as you got hamburgers and hot dogs, he'll go.
I'll cook
I got snack
myself.
cakes, but yeah, Slim's got a microwave. He's gonna get everything.
Catches on fire.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
I'll get those frozen White Castle burgers. And
those are good. I do. I can rock those. I
don't think he's ever had a White Castle because White Castle isn't in our area up here in Boston.
Oh, they don't go up that far. Yeah, they're around here. There's one in Tom's River, which is about 20 minutes away. I love the White Castle.
Yeah, the first White Castle I ever went to was in New York City, about 2 or 3 blocks down from the Port Authority. Wow. And this is going back probably 2007 or 8. And that was my first experience with White Castle.
Oh, my God. Those stupid little burgers are so good. So good. I could eat like 20 of them. 20 of them. How's Abby been, though, TC? Are you guys doing the podcast still?
Abby is Miss Busy. I'm going to call her Busy Abby.
Yes.
She, outside of the show, has a tremendous career. She's a graduate school at a college. I'm not going to name the college because of the stalkers out there.
Yeah, totally.
She's going for theatrical entertainment.
Oh, wow.
And she's, wrapping that up probably within the next few months. And she's continuing her duties down here as executive producer of the program, which is, it's kind of hard, but we hired her a little over a year ago, and we've had a pandemic. So she's basically been out there, getting sponsorships lined up. We hopefully, I knock on wood. I said this the last time I was on your show, but around the pandemic is we want this damn thing to end so we can come back and do our shows 100% in studio and bring in some fantastic guests. But, this bullshit pandemic has ruined everything.
It has. It really fucking has. I every time I hope it's going away, there's another strain, another thing to worry about.
Another variant.
Yes. Oh, sick. Enough of the fucking variants.
I think we need to have COVID versus Colonel Bull Montana.
Yeah, Bull will take it out. He's already immune. I feel he's like the he's the vaccine.
He is a
vaccine. He is a vaccine. He's you can get addicted to him real quick.
Oh, what's worse, the pandemic or the vaccine? I don't know.
No, a 4-hour car ride with Colonel Bull Montana is worse. But you'd rather risk your chances with COVID.
COVID runs from the Colonel.
He does. Yeah, COVID runs from the Colonel. That can be a bumper sticker.
That should be.
But Abby sends her regards. I talked to her earlier today, tried to get her down here on the program. She was just too busy.
She's a
and she
sweetheart.
said in her cutest little adorable, British voice, "Oh, I love those guys so much. Having just a sport of tea for me."
We're having some tea.
Yeah, this is a tea. An IPA tea.
An absinthe tea, if you know what I mean.
Is it wrapping paper tea?
Oh.
Hey, it's legal here, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's totally legal. I bought it here. That's all I know. TC,
there you go.
Do you have any plans? Do you have any big plans for when the show comes back full force?
Yeah, I do. We've had guests lined up that wanted to come on the program, but they're just afraid to because I don't blame them.
I don't either.
They're getting sick and whatnot. And our production crew, for those of you who don't know about the show, you can look us up online at tcrestani.com. We're a late night talk show, and the greatest compliment I ever got was from a guest who said, "You guys are like the Tonight Show from the Twilight Zone." And I took that with the biggest round of applause in my book because I like the Tonight Show from the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And my production crew, I want to give them, they've been off for a year and a half, but in their real lives, they work for major television stations here in the Boston area, like ABC affiliates, NBC affiliates. So they really can't risk getting sick to come down and do our award-winning talk show as much as they would like to because they have to support family and, all that other stuff. So we totally get that. So, no one's going to appreciate you unless you go away for a while and make a big return. So that's what we're going to be doing, hopefully sometime in 2022, unless the Montana variant comes out of nowhere.
That's a variant I don't want around.
Oh, you've actually hung around with him then, huh? No, I can't. I'm only kidding. Bull Montana is one of my best friends in life. He's one of the most unique individuals you'll ever meet in life. But he is the foil to T.C. Restani.
Yes, he's amazing. I was gonna say, does he ever hit you up at random times for like some crazy thing, like to bring him something?
Always.
Bring me some hot dogs.
You're talking about a guy who doesn't have a cell phone, who's never had a cell phone, right?
Really? Still to the day.
When we were doing the show, right? When we were doing the show, I used to have to call his house phone, which he has, and leave a message on his machine and say, Colonel, we're doing a show on such and such a day. You got to be here at such and such a time. So on particular show dates, I would get no less than 4 or 5 different random cell phone numbers on my phone. It was Bull borrowing people's cell phones wherever he is, at a bus stop or on the subway or wherever the hell he is. So that's one of the unique communication skills of him. So whenever we do a show, and I get these random phone numbers I've never heard before,
I wouldn't want to answer those. I wouldn't want to answer those random numbers. I'd be like, I don't know this person. But when you got Bull in your life, you gotta take those calls.
Oh, you do. You do. He's called me a couple times. He's like, hey, I ran out of ketchup at my house. You think you can swing by and drop me off at Walmart? It's like you can't wait until the sun comes up to get your ketchup. I mean, come on. But he's the Colonel. You got to do it.
You got it.
Everybody loves the Colonel.
Yeah. That's great. That's amazing, TC.
It is amazing. It's I've been blessed by being surrounded by talented and unique individuals in my entire professional career.
That's all you could hope for.
The Colonel goes back earlier than the professional career, but it's just amazing. It's like the Wizard of Oz going down that yellow brick road. You never know who you're going to stumble into.
Yeah, that's true.
If you were to tell me, 19 years ago when I did, or coming up on 19 years ago when I did the first show, that I'd still be doing this and talking about it to people on podcasts from around the country, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, that's a long run, man.
It is a long run, and it's been fun. It's had its ups and downs, and like I said, hopefully we'll come back because I really am itching to do it. It's been a while since I put on the red sequin jacket, so it's like Superman in his cape.
Yes. That's it. Like right now, I can't wait for the break, but like I feel like at some point it's gonna be like, oh my god, we gotta do it. We gotta do this every week.
No, because once you get this in your blood, you can't get rid of it.
No.
I don't care how many transfusions you get, you can't get rid of it.
No, you can't. You cannot.
Now, you guys have been doing this now for how many years?
Since 8, right?
This is our 8th, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
8 years. All right? And it seems like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, when you think back, like literally. Just blink of an eye. Just the fact that we've been going that long, it seems like we haven't been. But at the same time, you do feel it. You do feel it.
Right. Now, now you think maybe you'll do some like quarterly specials throughout the year after you guys have, semi-retired.
Yeah. And then
you guys got a huge audience. You guys do this on a weekly basis. We were doing our show on we would go in once a month and tape a couple episodes and whatnot. But I couldn't imagine trying to line up guests week after week after week. That takes a lot of effort. And you guys should be applauding yourself for that because I follow you guys on the social media. I see who you got coming on and who you had on. It's incredible.
when we used to do it weekly, we used to do it 4 times a month. I would book at least 2 months in advance because, it's a lot of work. A lot of work goes into it. And I feel
you guys had it easy because you're doing it over the phone. Just imagine trying to do that in a live studio setting with people and directors and people coming in from all over the place. It's very difficult.
Yes,
I mean,
totally.
we had to stay regionalized with the guests. We couldn't bring in someone from New York or California or Texas or wherever.
Yeah, that does limit you. And we used to, I think we do 4 guests a show now. I think we used to do 6 at one point.
Yeah, we had a longer show.
I remember at one point, we cut back and I was like, how did we ever do that?
Yeah.
Extra hour or whatever it was.
What did we do? Did we start at 5?
I think we started at 5 guests a show, and then we went to 6, and then at one point we went to 4.
Yeah,
because
and then 4 was kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah, yep, that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, looking back on your 8 years, with the exception of yours truly, who was the most impressive guest you had on saying after the interview, going, "My God, I can't believe we actually got that person"?
For me, it was definitely Jamie Kennedy, just because he was somebody I loved as a kid, and it was cool that I got to interview Jamie Kennedy.
I still say, and I'll take it to the grave, Spencer Grammer, just. From Rick and Morty, she voices Summer, and also the fact that she's Kelsey's daughter. Just so cool. So cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I just remember, too, when we talked to her, I was like, why'd you say yes to our show? And she's like, you hit me up at just the right amount of wine. So I was like, okay, that's super cool. Because all I did was just Twitter message her. Would you come on? And she was like, yeah.
There you go.
So,
that's the way to do it.
But like you said,
I have to say that when it's all said and done, the most impressive guest that I think I've had on the show was obviously Mr. Miyagi himself, Pat Morita, when he was drunk on our show on our very first broadcast.
Dude, that's amazing. My sons just I think it was the past summer I got them into Cobra Kai, and so before I let them watch that, I made them watch the original Karate Kids, and they love him. They love him.
Oh, you have to. I mean, the guy was an icon and whatnot. Literally, I was thinking of this the other day. He died in 2005, and he really was off the radar at that point in time.
Yeah.
I may have been the very last talk show that he ever appeared on.
I feel like if it wasn't, it was one of the last. I've gone on a YouTube deep dive of him. I've seen. I don't think I've seen anything after your interview with him.
Right, because he lived out in Las Vegas or whatnot. So it could have been. I mean, we had him on in May of 2003, and he passed away sometime in 2005.
Yeah.
So we may have been the very last late night, quote unquote, late night talk show that guy did.
Yeah, it's
kind of an honor in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy who probably did every other talk show: Jay Leno, Johnny Carson, Letterman. He's probably shown up on all these things, and the last one that he ever did was yours truly's late night talk show after hours at T.C. Restani. That's to tell me that as a kid that that Mr. Miyagi is going to be on a talk show that you're hosting.
Yeah.
And may be the last late night television appearance of his life.
Yeah.
Is something that I can brag about, for as long as I'm kicking.
I watched an interview that was on I guess a show at the time, and it was about landing the role of Mr. Miyagi, and he was kind of already done with acting at that point, and the original the people that made the movie, the guy in charge was like, no, he's not who I want, and then at one point I think the producer just asked him to come in and audition. And the guy was like, who was that? And he's like, that's the guy you didn't want. He was like, no, I want that guy. So that's how he got that. He wasn't even a consideration for that role. It's amazing.
Because in his career, he was a stand-up comedian who became, a background character actor. He was obviously Arnold on Happy Days.
Yes.
And he would show up in different sitcoms. Him and Red Fox were very close, Sanford and Son.
Yes.
So it's kind of like Robin Williams. When people think of Robin Williams now, they think of him as the dramatic actor and whatnot. But prior to, say, Good Morning Vietnam, he was crazy Mork from Mork and doing all these crazy, weird movies in his nutty stand-up.
Yeah.
So it's like, a lot of these stand-up comedians who are crazy, and you think they're crazy and they have no talent whatsoever, deep down are the best actors in the world because what they're doing up on stage is an act.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
So, I mean, hats off to him because he was he opened a lot of doors for people who were in the stand-up, field. People like, wait, did you see Pat Morita in The Karate Kid? I couldn't believe that was the same foul-mouthed comedian that was on stage talking about this and that. And whatnot.
My sons didn't even realize.
That's a book by itself.
My sons didn't realize that he didn't sound like he did in Karate Kid because he sounded like he was like an immigrant, but no, he sounded like he just had an American voice. He didn't have any voice that was like Mr. Miyagi.
He was born and bred here.
Yeah,
he's an American.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You should show your kids him on my show when he's completely half in the bag.
I will. As long I'll have to review it first, but yeah, I will.
Oh no, it was clean. It was completely clean.
Yeah, you do a clean show, TC.
It was just him, the most adult-oriented thing in that interview was him. I'm the one who taught him how to wax off. That was
yeah. No, I totally will. I'm totally gonna kick out of that, TC. TC, we have to wrap it up, dude. I can't believe it's time already.
Well, can I plug my social media and my website one more time?
Of course.
Well, if you want to go to my website and find out all about what's going on in the world of After Hours with T.C. Restani, go to tcrestani.com. But the best place you can reach me is my Twitter, and that is @AfterHoursTC. And every night, I do one of those Twitter spaces now, where I invite everybody who follows me on Twitter, and we just chat about whatever anybody wants to talk about.
I saw that. Usually I'm at work when I get that invite, so I'm like, oh my God, I can't. I'm dealing with a whole bunch of work stuff. I'm an important worker. But... I will check it out at some point, TC.
Unbelievable.
And have the happiest holidays possible, my friend.
And I want to publicly thank you guys. You guys have had me on your show now like 3 or 4 times. It's always been an unbelievable pleasure. We chat offline. You guys have become great friends in the After Hours with T.C. Restani family. And I'm honored to say that I have been on this program multiple times. And I hope you guys reconsider, come on back full time because the world needs people like Robin Slim.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good one, TC.
We never close.
Later, dude.
Later.